In this video, we'll be talking about while loops. Welcome to another lesson in the Python Programming for Beginners series. In this series, we'll be talking about the Python programming language. Each of the videos is built on the previous videos. If you do not understand any of the concepts we are talking about, it is advisable that you start from the beginning of the series, then you visit the subsequent videos for better understanding. Alright, back to loops. In our introduction to loops, I mentioned that there are two primary types of loops in Python programming language. The first type of loop is the for loop that I use to iterate over list or sequence. Anything iteratable, I use it to iterate over a predetermined number of iteration. So the second primary type is the while loop. The while loop is used to repeat a block of code as long as a certain condition is true. Most times, while loop is used when you cannot predetermine the number of iterations you need. You know, with lists, a list has a definite number of items in it. And if you are possibly using range, you already define the range of numbers that you want to use for the loop. But for while loops, you do not know the number of iterations you will be possibly performing. So a while loop performs operation as long as a certain condition is true. The syntax for while loop goes with, you have the while keyword followed by the condition. As long as condition is true, this one is going to be undefined for now because we don't have any variable with the condition is true name. We have the while condition is true, and then you have the block of code you want to execute. You have block of code to be executed. Alright, so this is the syntax for while loop. We have the while keyword, then followed by the condition. The block of code following this line will be executed repeatedly as long as this condition is true. So this while loop is used whenever you don't know the number of iterations you want to perform. You just use it as long as the defined condition is true. For example, you have a variable with the name of number to be equal to 0. So you want to keep printing number as long as number is less than 10. So we are going to define our condition to be number less than 10. So our block of code is going to be print. We have the print function. So we are printing number. So currently our number is 0. So we want to keep printing number. It will repeatedly keep executing this code as long as this condition is true. And presently number is 0, which is numerically less than 10. So this condition is true. This line will continue executing forever since the condition is always true. And that brings us to the concept of infinite loop. While loops is kind of dangerous if you don't know how to define your condition. With this condition now, we have number to be less than 10. And currently number is 0, which is less than 10. That means this condition is infinitely true. And if I run this code now, what will eventually happen is my computer is going to crash because this condition is ever true. That means this code will continuously be executed without stop. So what we need to do to escape the infinite loop is to create an escape condition so that the escape condition is going to eventually turn our condition to false at a point. Presently the condition is true and the code will continually keep executing until the condition turns to false. So without creating an escape route, we are going to get stuck in the infinite loop, and at the end our computer is going to crash wherever your code is being executed. So to create an escape route now, currently our number is 0 and the boundary we defined is 10. So this code will keep executing as long as our number is less than 10. So to create an escape route for this condition now, after the print statement, we can increase our number with steps of 1. So we can say number is equal to the previous number plus 1. This line now is going to serve as our escape route. So let's call this our escape route for the infinite loop. Okay, so if I run this now, we are saved. At first, our number is going to be 0, it's going to be printed. And after printing, number is going to be increased by 1. So if we run this now, so we have from 0 to 9 printed. Since we said as long as number is less than 0. If you say number is less than or equal to 10, so 10 is going to be inclusive in our iterations. Alright, we can as well use this while loop to perform the same operation we performed in our last video about the multiplication table 2. So we can also do same with while loop. So to do that, Let's comment this out. So if you want to perform multiplication table 2 we can start from 1 to, let's use 12 as a simple analogy. Let's define our boundary to be, let's say we are starting from 1 and up to 12. So let's say our number is equal to 1. Then we have the while keyword starting our while loop. So as long as number is less than 13, so we want to start our multiplication table from 1 then up to 12. So far this condition is true, so we want to print the statement print. Then we'll be using f strings for easy interpolation of strings. We have 2 multiplied by, so this is going to be number. We have our curly braces and then we have the equal sign is equal to, so we have 2 times our current number, which is starting from 1. We can clear the terminal. We clear the terminal using the clear command. We can use this condition. We are starting from 1. You can also use 12. That means you'll be using less than or equal to. That is going to stop at 12, right? So if we print this now, you have 2 times 1. Okay, so this is what I was saying. You can see now the loop is an infinite loop and it's going to keep executing. The omission I did here is that I omitted our escape route. So we are currently in an infinite loop. You see the code keeps executing. You have 2 times 1, 2 times 1. Stop this now. If I leave it like this, my ID will eventually crash. It keeps increasing. I'm currently in an infinite loop. Let me kill this terminal now so that it doesn't crash my ID. Okay, after printing this statement, I need to increase my number from the current number to the next number. We are going to do that using, we have number to be equal to number plus 1. So an easy method of doing this is using the plus equals value. So we can say number plus equals 1. Alright, so with this now, after printing this statement, then this is going to increase my number by 1, and then the loop is going to start again from the top using 2 as a number. After 2 it goes to 3, after 3 it goes to 4, and on like that. Let me run this now. What we have, so you can see we have 2 times 1 to be 2, 2 times 2 to be 4. So this will be printed. After printing this, our variable is increased by 1. So the initial step is 1, the next is going to be 2 after increasing this by 1. So after increasing this, it goes back to the beginning again and execute the block of code. After finishing executing, it goes back to the beginning again and execute it again. After finish executing, it goes back to the beginning, and the cycle goes on and on like that for as long as this condition is true. So as soon as the condition turns to false, the code stops executing. Alright, so that's that with while loop. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I will see you in the next video.